They are a great team. A person is a product of everything and every experience they've ever had, good, bad, and ugly, and the good people in their life that they have had. I've had good teachers and not so good teachers. I've had great coaches and not so great coaches, but they all help you to become, who you are.
Alan Carius, Al, was a product of his upbringing in his hometown of Morton, Illinois. And while Al earned a varsity letter in football and basketball, he excelled in cross country and track. After graduation, he experienced a disappointing few months at a Division I school in Kansas before he transferred to the University of Illinois. During his postgraduate experience with the legendary Ted Hayden of the University of Chicago Track Club, Al learned of Hayden's philosophy of, what can the sport do for the athlete? It deeply resonated with Al. The year was 1966. Lyndon Johnson was president. The Vietnam War had just begun, and the world was changing. Al Carius took a coaching job at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois, never dreaming he would be there for 50 years and more.
And he only had 6, 7 guys on the team to begin with, and so he was the best one by far. And so he ran with them every day.
That hard work paid off for Al and his team as they won their first CCIW cross-country title in 1968. A winning legacy that now spans 50 years. One of those guys was Glenn Behnke, who became Al's first national track and field champion. But his first day on campus started off a little rough.
I was a little early, so I went up on the hill over here and sat there because I didn't really know anybody. But they all went out the back door and I missed it. I missed the first practice. So I just ran on my own and then met him afterwards. And we just talked about, oh, how did you run? How did that do? It's just putting all these people together who are just great people.
On the heels of his first national championship, the following fall, Al's team won its first NCAA Division III cross-country championship, only 3 years after D3 competition began. But more importantly, his philosophy of run for fun and personal best was working.
Never found a better way to describe what we do as runners. It's certainly the guiding principle of the program that I've tried to run here at Naperville North, and I just can't come up with a better term than run for fun and personal best.
That simple yet elusive mantra has led the North Central Cardinal runners to an unprecedented record and national recognition.
And the fact that Al's been here a half a century, when you think about it, it boggles the imagination. A half a century, one man coaching at one school. In this world, in the world of track and field and cross country, North Central is at the pinnacle.
When he says run for fun and personal best, that's really what spawned the running boom, really, that of the last 20 years. It's not about how fast you are compared to the world record holder, it's about people participating, having a good time, and trying to run their best times.
His success came from his ability to bring a group of young men together. But as his program grew, it became harder and harder.
I remember going home and telling my wife, I said, you know what, I'm really, really frustrated. I did not talk to every athlete on my team today.
Watching football practice one day gave Al an idea, and he made the decision of a lifetime in 1983.
Hired Frank Grammarosa, which was the greatest hire of my life, and he really could cover the sprint side of things, the hurdle side of things. In fact, he could coach most anything. And then we started adding different coaches that were specialists for the different areas.
He's inspired me in a lot of ways, and I think I can honestly say I've inspired him in a lot of ways.
They were like peas in a pod. I've never had to articulate it, but they were true partners.
Marcy Thurwachter joined North Central as the women's track coach, and was quickly inspired by Al's coaching philosophy.
I came from an era when women's sports was barely in existence. The only reason you'd be out was because you loved it. But I think the fact that I heard him day in and day out for year after year after year portray almost every situation in a positive light, that rubbed off on me and really influenced me.
Part of Al's influence includes simple gestures of motivation to keep his runners focused.
He just painted a line that when you cross that door out to the back to where they're going to meet for morning run, where they're going to go and do something else, now you've crossed over, you can put everything else and all your worries to the side.
Morning runs was a time where we could run at a pace slow enough everyone could talk and everyone could relax and have a good time. And Al would always say that his dad always told him that if you're in a position to help someone you don't, you ought not to be in that position. And he wants to create a culture where he can make life better for the people around them and that we can do the same for those around us.
That culture propelled the Cardinals to their first national team titles in both indoor and outdoor track and field in 1989. The now traditional Cardinal stripes caught the attention of many, and that was by design. Since the beginning, Al wanted to be able to spot his runners in the race. He also wanted them to easily see each other.
I know some people just looked at it as a uniform, and yes it is, but to me it summed up everything North Central is. When you wear that, you are representing not just your current team, but you're representing your past team. I loved the fact that Glenn Behnke, who ran in the late 60s, early 70s, wore those jerseys. And I always thought about, hey, I'm wearing the same jersey Glenn Behnke ran in.
One of the guys to wear the stripes was Dan Iverson.
I'd been through recruiting at a couple Division I universities that just simply, they at best they tolerated me, and at worst they sort of blew me off. The first things out of Al's mouth is, don't even worry about whether or not we want you. The question is North Central right for you? And the way you said it or something was it just made me know that was a place that I was going to be able to be welcomed and to be able to get better.
Dan did get better. He competed on 3 national championship teams, and in 1993, his cross-country team set the current Division III record for the lowest point total at a national meet, 32. One of Dan's shining moments occurred in an unusual way at the 1994 Outdoor National Meet. With less than 2 laps to go in the steeplechase, he fell at the last barrier. A national championship was in peril.
I was convinced that the whole field had passed me, and so I sprinted as hard as I could. I don't even remember, but I finished 8th by less than 1/10 of a second.
And North Central College won by a single point.
But I do remember getting a very big hug from him.
11-time All-American John Weigel remembers the hill runs at 4 Lakes and the Blackwell Forest Preserves, not for their tradition, but for what they taught him.
There's 2 ways you can go into any workout, and one way is with the attitude that, how am I going to get through this workout? And the other attitude is, what am I going to get from this workout?
Academic success and championships go hand in hand for the runners on Al's team, with their GPAs typically among the highest on campus of all athletic teams.
The most genuine person I've ever met in my entire life, and I think that's his secret, if you will. I'm amazed that anybody has that much heart in that much body. He's got to be hiding heart someplace else. And the guys understand that and relate to it.
John Weigel and Dan Iverson became teachers and coaches, extending the legacy of Al's influence, culture, and success.
And he'll also tell you that the one thing you can't coach is want to. You can't talk a kid into something that they really don't want to do.
You're not around any professor as much as you are your cross-country coach. You're not around your parents as much as you are your cross-country coach. And what the guys get by being there and being around him on a daily basis, it's pretty magical.
I've been the personal benefit of that with one of my children running under Dan Iverson at Naperville North High School, and the impact that his program has had on her, not just in terms of her running, but in terms of the culture that she's part of, is directly due to the impact that Carius had on Dan Iverson when he was a student at North Central College.
In 1999, the USA Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association named Al Carius its Coach of the Century. The Cardinals closed the 20th century with an impressive 16 national championships and began the new century by capturing the inaugural CCIW Indoor Track and Field Championship. And they've held on to it ever since. But success does not come without challenges.
So my experience was a little different because we kind of struggled the first couple of years in school.
In 2005, Coach Al Carius found his philosophy tested as his famed cross-country team struggled and finished 12th at nationals, the worst finish in college history. Taking a page from his old playbook, Al remained positive and encouraged his young team.
Al's overwhelming support and just his confidence in us. I think it's kind of hard not to be confident when you see your coach and even he's still kind of plowing through and he's got that confidence in you.
Though Al relied upon his positive attitude to push through this challenge, he recognized the need to change.
Al realized that just because you're looking for the whole person doesn't mean that you should let your standards of excellence slip. And he said he found some people who were just thrilled with being part of the team but not willing to put out the maximum amount of effort. And he said, I really had to rethink this. This is after almost 40 years of coaching. He's saying, I really have to rethink this. I need to break this program into freshman, JV, varsity, or A team, B team, and whatever. I found that really interesting, that a person with this record of success would have actually rethought a lot of his coaching philosophy after 4 decades of doing it.
And a lot of people in today's society, or a lot of young athletes, not a lot, some look for the quick fix and think, well, if I eat this specialty thing or have this kind of shoe or do this special workout, that's going to make me great. No, it really goes down to the very, very basics and commitment, hard work, discipline.
The team went back to basics and in 2009 captured a new Division III record, the largest margin of victory at a national meet. That record still stands today, and all 7 competing runners earned All-America status. This was the first leg of the Triple Crown, with both indoor and outdoor track and field national titles in 2010. The Cardinals won 4 out of 7 NCAA cross-country national championships between 2009 and 2015. For their 2011 national championship, then-Governor Pat Quinn declared Friday, January 6, 2012, as North Central College Cardinals Men's Cross Country Day in Illinois. Al Carius has not only seen the world change throughout his 50 years of coaching and teaching, he has also seen North Central change and grow to include a state-of-the-art indoor track named in his honor. He takes pride in the meaning of influence. But his influence is more than the runners he has coached. It extends to men and women athletes and students.
And I'm so happy I knew you because of how you placed at nationals. It's not about that. He's happy about the family I have now and the job I have and the success I've had after college.
He was able to deal with the kids he had in 1966 when, for lack of a better word, it was a simpler time. And he's able to deal with kids 50 seasons later in 2015. But Al has managed to adapt himself to whatever the changes in society that were going on around him. And adapt doesn't mean compromise. Adapt means adapt.
It's so authentic, it's who he is at the end of the day, that it inspires you. It inspires you to be better, to come to work every single day present in the moment.
It is a rare and it is a special thing to have somebody who can have such an impact on individuals over such a long period of time that it actually changes the legacy, changes the story that is North Central College. I can tell you that North Central College would not be the same without the impact and the legacy of Al Carius.
People sometimes will forget exactly what you say, but they don't forget how you make them feel, and certainly that was true with Al. That I still I will never forget how he made me feel that first day.
50 years ago, Al Carius set out to connect to the deeper part of the runner. He found his opportunity at a college in Naperville, Illinois. The words character and values became a part of his workout. He challenged young men to strive for a larger purpose, to be better people, and to have fun while chasing their dreams. From this, the mantra "Run for Fun and Personal Best" was born. 5 decades, 26 national championships, 95 conference titles, and more than 500 All-America awards later, we celebrate a man who has inspired us all to improve ourselves, be kinder to others, push past our comfort zone, find answers to bigger questions, and be true to ourselves. To be the best we can be, one step at a time. Thank you, Al, for never giving up on that spirit and showing us how to live it every day.